Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Malpani, a general surgery resident, and today I have with me Dr. Sakshi Malpani, who has done her MBBS from St. G.S. Medical College and KEM Hospital, Bombay. She completed her M.D Dermatology from GMC Nagpur and is currently doing her SRship from JJ Hospital, Bombay. Apart from this, she happens to be my family friend. She was my senior throughout school, college, and everything. We used to go to awards functions together, she being the senior batch and we being the junior batch. And her dad, who's a well-known endocrinologist of our town, Dr. Malpani. So uncle has always been with me. More than a family friend, he has been like a mentor to me, always guiding me throughout my UG and PG days. So this interview is very personal, very special, and I already know it's going to be great. So, hi, Dr. Sakshi.
Hi, Dr. Sabha.
So, how are you? It's been so long. It feels
Yeah,
different
I
to
think,
record professionally.
yeah,
It's
I think
like
it's been
more
more
than,
than 11 years
yeah, I think
since we have
yes.
interacted so in person, as close to as in person comes, virtual contact has been, this is good to catch up.
Yeah, same here. Like I remember all the interactions were because you were always my senior in the same institute, be it college, be it Yashwant College or Bhargav sir or Chogule sir, and then being family friends, every time meeting on Diwali and all of it. I think it's great catching up after a very long time.
Yes,
So
and this
coming,
time as colleagues, it feels nice.
yeah. So coming to the first question, what made you choose dermatology? Like I remember you having a very good rank in NEET PG, and I
Yes.
was always under the impression that you would take MD medicine. Uncle always used to tell me that you read Harrison, and I used to ask you of how to read it and all of it. So I was very sure that you would be taking MD medicine. But when the ranks came out and you got a very good college, Uncle told me that you got dermatology. So what made you change your mind and
So when I entered MBBS, I was pretty sure that I would want to go into MD medicine, internal medicine, just as my father, because that's all I had known. And also the fact that we are pretty much more exposed to stuff like internal medicine, general surgery, OBGYN, these major branches in our formative years of MBBS, and not so much to these minor branches like psychiatry or dermatology or maybe orthopedics for that matter also. So the fact of the matter was, I was not aware of how other branches would be. I was a very, uh, the way that just looking at the bird's eye, that was MD medicine. For me, it used to be that way. But when we started studying in internship for NEET PG, that's when I realized that there are other subjects which are minor subjects, but just as good, very interesting as well. And you know that internship sucks the life out of you. You get to realize the ground reality of the branches that you like. Books mein padna seems very nice, like, oh, this is so interesting, this is so nice. Plus the fact that branches like medicine and surgery have already been very glamorized and romanticized in the way that there are many medical dramas also that concentrate on this. टीवी में दिखाते हैं ये करते हैं and just the adrenaline rush of the whole thing, it's a life and death branch, so it makes you feel a certain type of way. But as you grow up you realize that you need a little bit of a work life balance also. So I when I started during internship I realized that work life balance would be a good bargain for passion. So, and then I started focusing on minor branches, and I realized that I like dermatology. But even till filling the forms, it was the rounds, all the rounds we go through, first round of counseling, second round of counseling. I was still very unsure of what branch I should take, but I had a good sit down with many people, especially my seniors from KEM hospital, the people who were doing MD medicine, the people who were doing MD derma. So I made like a pros and cons list for both of them. And the pros in dermatology were the work life balance, the fact that it was a good compromise between clinical, surgical, and diagnostic also. The third point was it is an not exactly an end branch, but the training period is much shorter than medicine. There is no requirement of post grad, as in super specialty का इतना requirement नहीं है. You can settle earlier. Even the pay is very good. You earn more money as opposed to how much efforts you are putting in for MD medicine. You don't end up earning that much. So they say that doctors should be like not be thinking about the money, but in the end हमें भी घर चलाना होता है. So Dharma felt like a good option at that time. And so with a very heavy heart, I had to put aside medicine and take the pragmatic and the practical route, which was an end branch. So I had two options in mind at first. Like my dad was very pro radiology. Uh, just like every other medico, he had this preconceived notion that dermatology is like these um, uh, glorified beauticians and stuff like that. So he was pretty much telling me to take up radiology. But when I showed him the entire curriculum of dermatology and how it was, he became more pro dermatology than me. Then he started telling me that he started showing me how life is for an MD medicine actually. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm sold. I'll do derma. Yeah, so
And
that is
coincidentally,
how I ended up doing.
yeah, and coincidentally, you got into your dad's alma mater, which happened to be
Yeah,
very
yeah, yeah.
nice.
It was it was a thing about choice that I made to be. I made a choice to be in my dad's alma mater. I had other options that I could have chosen, but I factored in stuff like the institute being close to home, my dad having some, my dad having been there before, he knew the ins and outs of the institution. So, and also the fact that GMC Nagpur has a very good reputation as far as academics go. It is a good tertiary care institute with a very big catchment area. So patients from MP, patients from all over central Maharashtra, they come to GMC Nagpur. So that is how I chose to be in GMC Nagpur. Obviously, I was not getting the place I wanted to be at, which was KEM, my alma mater. But yeah, then again, this was what I did.
Yeah, but I think GMC Nagpur is also like when I was in IGMC, we used to go to GMC to take medicine rounds and few of the medicine postings just to get the
Yes.
touch of it. Really nice people from all across the cities and villages come over.
Yeah,
And
I feel that GMC Nagpur is very underrated. It doesn't get the due diligence that people should give it. It doesn't get the due respect that people should give it. And even I had this preconceived notion कि अरे कहाँ जा रही हूँ and stuff like that. But then when I went there and took a few months to adjust, I found that there is brilliant variations in patients. The number of patients is just too good, and the variation, the number of different diseases that I was seeing. So it helped me build a good interest in dermatology. So that was one of the things, and the faculty there is just amazing,
amazing. Yeah.
very
Yeah.
underrated.
So I think a little bit it is
Yeah.
underrated because you're from KEM, and of course going from Bombay and from KEM to any other institute would make anyone feel that way. But I think of course
Yeah.
it's a great, and at the end God puts us where we belong to teach us things,
Yeah,
you know.
destiny. You cannot play two hands at destiny. It's where
Yes.
you're supposed to end up. You end up, and it's always good for you.
Yes. So, like, I remember when you had got Nagpur, uncle was like, I was in IGMC Nagpur that time, and uncle was like, Sakshi's coming to, so happy. And I was like, oh, wow. So, yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
for the first few months, I was not in a very great mood, but then when I got adjusted, I was very happy then. Very, very happy.
yeah, to summarize this, I think, like you said, dermatology is good as it is an amalgamation of a lot of subjects and also gives work-life balance. So, for people who
Yeah.
are considering this with work-life balance and are also interested in
Don't
diagnosis, like
forget
also,
money.
sorry.
Don't forget money.
Yeah, and money, of course. Yeah, I think one of the highest paying with the amount of efforts that you put in, plus it gives you your personal life. And of course, it's a top branch like radiology and dermatology or something that goes towards the
Yes.
toppers. So, yeah. So, like, what are the options post dermatology? Because usually in internship, like you said, we get a very limited exposure to mostly, especially in government colleges, like where I did my internship, it was mostly fungal infections and all of it, but no cosmetology. But now that I see dermatology is an entirely different and evolving subject and branch altogether. So,
Yes. So even in your postgrad, you won't be getting a whole lot of exposure to cosmetology. Even your postgrad will be more or less, it's more or less building up your groundwork. Making yourself sound in your clinical skills first, understanding what is basic dermatology. When you're in first year, घंटा कुछ समझ में आता है. You don't understand anything. The only thing you understand is fungal infection and acne. Otherwise, for the first 6 months, you're like a blind bat. Don't understand anything. But with experience and exposure, you get to understand many more things. And dermatology is a very vast branch because everything can be seen by the naked eye. So anything that you can see on your skin, the patient will come and show you. And any and everything is a pathology. You have dyspigmentation, it's a pathology. You have a tumor, it's a pathology. Small things are a pathology, big things are a pathology. So basically, your PG is like a formative years for you in dermatology. You will not get a lot of exposure to cosmetology in your PG until and unless you are doing it in an institute that puts its impetus on cosmetology. If you are going to join a government institute, basically tertiary care institutes, the basic impetus is going to be on diagnostic skills like your naked eye examination, wood lamp examination, torch examination, dermoscopy, histopathology, and therapeutics. And in your after your a good chunk of the second year is over and you're entering the third year, good basic surgical exposure, like cyst excisions, nail surgeries, acne scar surgeries, but not high-fi surgeries. Like there'll be basic surgeries to teach you how to not to botch up patient's face. Like be good, don't do any harm, just be good. So that is what is expected of you in your residency when you're doing it from a tertiary care or government hospital. But if you're doing it from a private hospital where the impetus is on cosmesis, then of course you'll get exposure to cosmesis. But as someone who has the clarity of retrospection, I would say that in your PG, you should be concentrating on your core clinical skills and your basic surgical skills because cosmetology is a big vast science in itself. And until and unless you are very clear in your basics of skin layers, what is transepidermal water loss, what is skin aging, what damage the sun can do, what damage pollution can do. Until and unless you're clear about that, you will never be able to excel in cosmesis. So you have to first be very clear. So afterwards, there is a lot of scope. There are n number of fellowships in India. There are a lot of fellowships abroad, which give you a very good hand at cosmetics. And in India, there are aesthetic medicine ke IDVL affiliated and RGUHF affiliated fellowships also. They range from a period of 1 month to 1.5 years. So you can opt for how much ever time that you feel that you need. So yeah, so there will be options of trichology, which is hair transplant and hair diseases, aesthetic medicine, which includes anti-aging and cosmetology, dermatosurgery, which is basically excisions, removals, acne scar surgeries, pediatric and geriatric dermatology, which in itself is self-explanatory, and then there is diagnostic dermatology, which includes your histopathology. So these are the main broad divisions. There are other fellowships also, which will be like hair cosmetics. There will be fellowships in spa therapy, so stuff like that. But these 5 are the basic things that you can do post MD. So in your MD, you will pretty much realize where you incline. Do you want to stick to clinical, or do you want to have like an amalgamation of a practice where you do a little cosmetology and you do a little clinical, or you want to do pure cosmetology, or you want to do pure hair? So you realize when you're doing your PG what interests you, what doesn't interest you. So it's like just testing the waters basically. And in no way are you going to understand the entirety of dermat in your PG. It is just the beginning. I mean, there is a lot to do afterwards also. Yes.
I think makes sense, and you've jotted down all the future options very nicely for somebody who doesn't know what dermatology holds. Yeah. It will be really beneficial. And what about DNB versus MD? Like if somebody is getting MD in a very peripheral institute versus DNB in Bombay or some good city with good reputed hospitals, what would you say?
I would say that if you have no future plans of joining a government hospital, a teaching post, if you don't want, then DNB is a good option. There is no difference in teaching faculty. The faculty is going to teach you. Patients आएंगे. It's not as if patients are not going to come. You'll be able to see varied number of cases in a good hospital. There will be faculty who is teaching you. Plus, DNB is a nationally recognized examination. MD तो state का होता है. DNB is a tougher examination to pass. So there is a lot of respect for DNB passouts. But until and unless you wish to work in government, so with DNB passouts, it gets a little difficult to get placed in every government institute is going to accept an MD candidate, but not all of them are going to accept a DNB candidate. Plus, for joining as a faculty, you need teaching experience as a senior resident, then as a lecturer, then you get promoted to assistant professor and then associate professor. So for that, MD is an easier route, I would say, but otherwise there is no difference.
Okay, I think only if somebody wants to get into the government job, there will be a difference, but otherwise, if not, then it's the same.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that DNB candidates cannot get into government institutions. I'm just saying that it's easier for MD candidates. So suppose like I cleared my MD from Maharashtra, so I am like very easy to get into government places as compared to a DNB candidate is what I'm trying to say.
And then what are your future plans like now that you're done with your MD and you're doing your SRship?
Yeah.
Are you to do some fellowships or go abroad?
Yeah. I do not plan to settle abroad, but I do plan to hit up a few fellowships abroad because I have gotten close to no exposure to cosmetology. So I will need to go to institutions and hospitals that have a good hand at cosmetology, reputed places who will teach me cosmetology. So there are pretty good options in Mumbai itself. There are good options in Bangalore. There are good options in Hyderabad. If you want to get exposed to how stuff is done abroad, then Dubai is a good option. Singapore is a good option. I'm trying to research how to get into the South Korean cosmetology fellowships because Korean skincare is, Korean skincare and Korean aesthetics are gaining a lot of traction nowadays. So it's sort of difficult, but nothing not researchable. If you have like good backing of research, you can get easily placed. But I would like to mention here fellowships from Cutis Hospital. It is a Cutis Skin Center in Bangalore. It is accredited with RGUHS, which is the Health Sciences of Karnataka. They offer good fellowships for anyone who's interested, longer term fellowships, 1 year fellowships in India only. Other places like Venkat Academy from Bangalore also offers 1 year fellowships. So if you're interested in, having a very, very sound 1 year proper hands-on fellowship, so there are options also. Because it's a very big misconception कि कोई fellowships नहीं है, सब एक महीने का fellowship होता है skin में. It's not like that. A lot of things are coming up. In KEM hospital only, there is 1 year fellowship of diagnostic dermatology, which is histopathology and dermoscopy. So there are plenty of places like coming up. If you want, you can attach a link. I can send you a link of future options of fellowships in India in dermatology.
Sure. I would attach it. And I think this is beneficial not only for UGs, but also PGs who have completed dermatology and don't know what to do because people don't have enough information and you've put everything in a single plate for to understand. Very nice.
Information is difficult to get. And also, I would like to say one thing here. People who are wishing to go abroad after doing their MD dermatology, there are good options abroad also. UK is easier to get into than the US. There are 2 ways to get into UK. I will also attach a link for that. I'll send you a link for that also. So you can attach it. People who are, recently changed their mind about India or people who are getting married abroad. I can send you links for UK and the US as well. So pretty much things will be clear for them that way also. Because there is this actual fact that it is very difficult to crack the UK and US market for dermatologists because they are very in demand there also. Like people from there, they will prefer their own candidates over us. But there are certain ways you can crack that market and I will send the links to you.
Sure. So you please send me the link so that I will attach it below. So I think we have RCS, you must be having some exams to crack before going to UK. or like we have Emily
Yes.
for you?
So the thing is, like you guys have a different degree that you have to crack, like MRCS, which is specific to surgery. So we do not have any such specific to dermatology degree to start your station job. Okay. So to become a consultant, you need to clear a specialty certificate examination. But to start your senior registrar or specialty registrarship, you need to clear PLAB. So two sets of PLAB can get you into dermatology courses into the UK. They accept your degree of MD from India. So you will get placed as a, I think it's called a specialty registrar, if I'm not wrong. But if you want to start your consultancy there, you need to clear MRCP, which is for the medicine MRCP. You need to clear the MRCP steps of medicine and then a specialty certificate examination of dermatology, which is 200 questions of dermatology divided in 3 hour, 6 hours, three hours के दो sessions होते हैं. So that way you can get to be a consultant in the UK. If you are a consultant in the UK, as far as I'm aware, you are allowed to branch out uh, in your own private practice as well. But if you are not a consultant, if you are going through PLAB route and you are sticking to being a senior specialty registrar, then you will not have access to private practice. So that is one of the things. So all
Okay.
of this will be very clear in the links that I'm attaching. And as far as US is concerned, you need to clear your steps. You need to do another residency for your board certification. There is another way around if you don't want to do a residency. That is called state registration. It's a very complicated path, but I will give you YouTube video links that you can attach if you
Sure.
want, because it will be
So
very
as
difficult for me to explain that.
sure. I think Dr. Sakshi has all the research and all the links available, which I will be putting.
Because I did it for myself also.
Yeah. So in the end, what message do you have for all the people who are taking up dermatology as a branch? Anything you want to tell the aspirants out there?
Yeah, so I would like to clear one very big misconception that dermatology consists only of cosmetology. There is a very strong clinical physicians backing to us. Like many doctors who have done their MD Derma do core clinical practice. So it's not as if dermatology is any lesser branch of medicine. It is a branch of medicine that gives you a very good satisfaction of work-life balance, of having surgery as well, of having diagnostic skills as well, of being able to treat as well. And the best part about dermatology is the results are visible in front of your eyes on someone's face. So it gives you immense satisfaction if you treat someone. And also, I would like to clear this one misconception that there are no life-threatening dermatological conditions, because we have very life-threatening drug rashes that get admitted in our wards, like Stevens-Johnson syndrome, toxic epidermal necrolysis, DRESS, even autoimmune bullous disorders like pemphigus vulgaris, bullous pemphigoid, that many patients succumb to secondary infection, sepsis, and overall MODS. There are other life-threatening disorders like vasculitis and connective tissue disorders like SLE, scleroderma that come under our purview. We manage them in consultation with rheumatology, but still, so it's a big misconception that we do not deal with internal medical conditions. We do deal with them. Dermatology is a very vast subject. There are things other than tinea, psoriasis, and acne. We have a 4 volume standard textbook, which consists of around 5 to 6,000 pages. So, हम भी हैरिसन को टक्कर दे सकते
Great. I think the way
हैं.
you think you put out everything that is needed. Like for people who think dermat is only, beauty and all of it, it's not the way you've put it. People know now
Yeah.
that, basically medical science and like you said, 4 volumes of big books, Jo Harrison ko takkar. So yes, I
Yes.
agree. We don't get to know during our internship or especially MBBS because it is considered as a
Yes.
short subject. But the field in itself is very vast if we actually step into it. So
Yes.
yes,
Yes. Of
great,
course.
great.
I hope that I have helped people who want to take up dermatology or who had this misconception that derma is like. So it was really nice.
I'm sure not
And
only for them, people who have done their post graduation, you've given enough information for them to flourish ahead. So I'm sure that
Yeah.
this will be.
Yes. And all the best to you and everyone who listened to this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for joining in.
Yes. Bye bye.
Bye.